Joining us now is Andrew Eborn, barrister, broadcaster and president of Octopus TV. Andrew Eborn, it's wonderful to see you again.
It's always wonderful to see you, Gabriella.
And what bombshell royal news we had over the weekend that Prince Andrew has now relinquished the Duke of York title following scandal after scandal and, of course, the ongoing fallout from his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein and the release of Virginia Giuffre's memoir. Now, Prince Andrew has, of course, denied all allegations against him, but let's just look at what's been detailed in Virginia Giuffre's memoir. There are, of course, more allegations of abuse, revelations about her encounters with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his former girlfriend Ghislaine Maxwell, and it also goes into how Virginia Giuffre really wanted accountability, Andrew.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the biggest theme of this. She wants accountability. 367 pages in total. And it's a gut punch of a memoir. And if she saves one person from silence, then she should be crowned the real queen. That's what she wanted. And she details all sorts of things. She talks about how she first met Ghislaine Maxwell when she was working at Mar-a-Lago as a towel girl, just being paid a few dollars an hour. And basically, Ghislaine said, look, I could offer you a job as a masseurs. Come with me. And she was then introduced to Epstein, and Epstein was naked apparently, and she said, look, just copy what I do. And she was then abused in that sort of situation. She then also details about the first time that she apparently met Prince Andrew, something Andrew denies, but it was in March 2021. She was woken up and told, today's your lucky day, today you're going to be Cinderella, you're going to meet a charming prince. Well, charming prince indeed. That was apparently the first time that she met him. They also detail some harrowing examples. She claims that she had sex with Andrew at least 3 times. Andrew obviously denies that, as you say. One of those, however, was in an orgy with 8 other girls. And what Virginia says is that those girls couldn't speak very good English. Epstein said it was good because they're easier to control, basically. And what happened, they were then abused with Epstein and Andrew in that orgy. As a result of it, she suffered some quite physical damage, and she was bleeding and so on and so forth. And she apparently went to get some medical care, and her memory of it is fairly hazed because she said she woke up in that haze and she wasn't quite sure what had happened. But she felt that there was an incision. And she was told that she'd had a miscarriage. That's what Epstein told her, because they didn't use condoms, apparently. And what happened is she had this miscarriage, but it wasn't necessarily a miscarriage. Another person said it could have been an ectopic pregnancy. But I've interviewed some people on my show, one of the victims, somebody called Juliet, who claimed that actually one of the things that hasn't been talked about is Epstein and some medical research that he might have done. And he might have been harvesting eggs from these different victims, and that's something which also needs to be looked at. But other revelations, horrendous, as you say, Gabriella. There's discussions about sadomasochistic sex. She says Epstein developed an interest in this, and he used experiments with whips and restraints and other instruments of torture, and she would just cause so much pain that she prayed that she would black out. One of the other horrendous things about Andrew is they talked about these internet trolls and this smear campaign that apparently Andrew was doing, this desperate digital dirty tricks to dodge accountability. And apparently Andrew hired trolls and also gave out her date of birth and social security number to try and dig up the dirt on her, so much so that the police are apparently looking into those allegations. But the biggest theme, and the thing that she sort of finishes on, is saying, look, about accountability. She really wants these people to be held to account.
Well, some of those allegations are just harrowing. Now, many have argued that Prince Andrew, I should say, should have been pushed out a long time ago. It's now being reported that Prince William has been the one really calling the shots in the royal family, including this big decision to really ostracise Prince Andrew. Royal historian Andrew Lowney has claimed that Prince William is much more ruthless than his father, King Charles, and that Prince William can see the huge reputational damage that has been done. Is that your assessment too?
Oh, absolutely. It's a tsunami of scandal, isn't it? And a startling lack of contrition on the part of Prince Andrew. And apparently, exactly as you say, Prince William is ruthlessly leading efforts to strip him of his dukedom honours, his Royal Lodge access, and to shield the king from any more of this reputational damage. And again, we spoke about this on this show. We predicted this on this very show. We said it started when at the Princess Kent's, you might remember the Duchess of Kent, her basically at her funeral, where Prince Andrew was together with Fergie, and Prince William was incredibly uncomfortable. And shortly after that, it was announced that he wasn't going to be attending Christmas. And now, obviously, he's put down his titles. But basically, William is much more ruthless than his father. He's looking for the future and the damage that Andrew is doing to the monarchy. So he probably wants to take it much, much further. There are no more kid gloves. He sees the reputational rot, if you like, from Andrew's Epstein lies, and he's forcing basically this swift, clean break before it festers further.
And Andrew, Prince William is reportedly planning a major blitz in which he'll strip a series of outer royals of their titles. So what would that mean for Princess Beatrice?
Well, she's married to Edoardo Mapelli Mozzi, who's Italian noble lineage. So she could become a contessa, which probably sounds a bit better, actually. So she could become a contessa. She could do that. But certainly it's rumoured that William wants to slim down the number of princes and so on, and princesses, and purge, if you like, a number of those. What will then happen is that they will be left without the title. Some of the suggestions are not just about Andrew and Fergie and their daughters, but also Prince Harry and Meghan, which will obviously be quite distressing for them. That could be effectively a bit of revenge on that sort of side. But that's what happened, and it could be coming within early weeks of King William V is what he would be. And it would remove those princely titles, not just from Andrew, but as I say, from Eugenie, Beatrice, Harry, Archie, and Lilibet as well, are the suggestions.
And there are reports that Parliament is under pressure to examine what the royal family knew about Prince Andrew's links to Jeffrey Epstein. What can you tell us about this?
Yes, and well, the general rule is this, Gabriella, that questions that cast reflections on the sovereign or the royal family are inadmissible in Parliament. In other words, you can't ask questions about the family, really, in either the Commons or the Lords. Now, a number of MPs are getting up and saying, look, this scandal has gone on far too long. We need to work out exactly who knew what when and have a full investigation. And also, whilst Andrew's given up his titles, he said he's not going to use them, they're not officially removed. So we need to get that sort of sorted. The website has been updated, the royal website. It's now just referred to as Prince Andrew. They no longer talk to him as the Duke of York. There's a pub not too far from me, which used to be called the Duke of York, and had a big picture of Prince Andrew up there until very recently. They've taken that down and replaced it with a more traditional picture of the Duke of York and his 10,000 men, and they're having all that sort of side. But this is what the politicians are saying. Look, enough is enough. We need to look at ways that we can actually get rid of these sort of scandalous royals on that sort of basis.
Now, according to newly disclosed documents, for over 2 decades, Prince Andrew did not pay rent while living at his Windsor residence. I mean, 2 decades. It's pretty extraordinary.
It is extraordinary, isn't it? Thrown out is what they're saying. He should be thrown out. What the property is, it's this 30-room royal lodge. It's not, when you think of a lodge, you think it's a little log hut at the end of it. It's not. It's in Windsor Great Park. I've spoken about this previously. And it spans 40 hectares within Windsor Great Park, and includes the gardener's house, 6 staff cottages, and an on-site accommodation for a police officer. What happened is that under the terms of a lease, he's been living there for rent-free, effectively, what they call a peppercorn rent, which is really just a token in legal terms to make it legally binding, but that can be waived. And he's been living there for over 20 years. It's been disclosed that he was given a 75-year lease in 2003. He initially paid £1 million up front, but the condition was that he has to pay maintenance costs. And at least 7.5 million, possibly 8.5 million, have already been paid towards these extensive refurbishments. But all of these revelations that are coming out now about the 75-year ironclad lease, it obviously doesn't bode well in terms of the public image.
Absolutely not. So while all this is going on, let's look at what King Charles is doing. And he is right now focusing on duty and service amid this endless stream of embarrassment because of Prince Andrew, really. So King Charles paid an emotional visit to Manchester on Monday, visiting Heaton Park Hebrew Congregational Synagogue after that deadly attack earlier this month. But can you talk to us more about what King Charles is really doing and how he's really focusing on the community at the moment?
Yes, absolutely. He wants to put the people and the victims first. This horrendous attack on October the 2nd during Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, basically struck across the whole nation. And he wanted to basically take the pulse of the nation and to reflect the grief and the tragedy that had happened. And he wants his focus to be on that, where he can heal the community. He can make sure we can get joined again on that sort of basis. So wants to put duty and service first. That's what he sort of emphasized during this synagogue visit amid that sort of community tragedy. And he's absolutely desperate to get the spotlight away from the scandals of Prince Andrew. And that's what he's trying to do. Avoid more royal red faces and all these cover-ups and more revelations. They were hoping that when Andrew announced that he was going to relinquish his titles or not use them, that it would go away. But more and more stories keep coming out. And Charles is desperate, absolutely desperate to change the narrative.
Of course. Now, there's always speculation that around Meghan Markle and whether she'll return to the UK or not, and it's being suggested that she may not be returning to the UK anytime soon because she knows how unpopular she is among Brits. Now, Andrew, I'm not sure if I agree with that. I'm not sure if she does know just how unpopular she is.
You think she's blissfully unaware? She obviously hasn't watched your programme recently. It's got to be good. And the reality is exactly that. This is the suggestion from a royal expert. Everybody's a royal expert these days, aren't they? Phil Dampier. What he does, he predicted that she's going to skip the UK because she's got this massive ego, and she doesn't want to be. She doesn't think that the UK likes her very much, and thinks she's only going to come back here, basically let Harry go on his own, because she's consistently ranked in the bottom of the list of favourable and popular royals, which is not very obviously not very palatable to her. So Meghan apparently, and it's all speculation from this person, won't come back. As I've discussed before, Prince Harry is desperate, if you like, to build the bridge now. And I'm delighted that he met his father, even if it was under an hour. But the emphasis there was, he said, his focus now is on his father. His father, as we know, has cancer, and his days are numbered, but we hope he'll live for as long as possible. But he recognises the fragility of that sort of side. So he does want to build that bridge. The suggestion that Meghan may not come with him would be a bit of a shock. But it'd be interesting, as you say, to see whether she's blind to those polls.
And look, finally on Meghan Markle, there are reports that she's desperate to attend Taylor Swift's wedding. What more can you tell us about that? That one doesn't surprise me.
I love it. There you go.
That one, I'm sure, is correct.
Absolutely, without doubt. So what's going to happen? Taylor Swift, as we announced on this very show, this engagement that she had to Kelsey, what's going to happen? I predict, here's a good prediction, you can hear it here first. She loves the number 13, so I reckon she'll probably go for a date like June the 13th, 2026, because 26 is obviously double 13. Apparently she's told everybody, so you can hear that here first, June the 13th, 2026, put money on it now. She recently joked that she was going to invite anybody she's ever talked to. Well, that's going to be interesting. Certainly on that list will be the Prince and Princess of Wales, who are both 43. They were amongst the millions who congratulated her when she posted on Instagram on the 26th of August that she was going to get married. And so she said, you might remember, Taylor Swift said, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married. That's what she said, with a series of photos. And Swift, 35, and Kelsey, 36, even met Prince William and his children, George and Charlotte, during their Euro tour stop in London. So I'm sure that they're going to be on the list. What we're not so sure of is whether Meghan's going to be there, but she would be spitting feathers and also edible flowers if she wasn't invited. So Let's see what happens.
Okay, well, that is a prediction. June 13, 2026. We'll, of course, wait and see, and then have to cross live to you over there if Meghan Markle gets her way and potentially gets an invite. Andrew Eborn, barrister and broadcaster, president of Octopus TV, thank you so much for joining us.
Always a pleasure. See you next week.